All right, Greg, as we close out his time in Philly, let us look ahead to his time in Indianapolis. What is Wentz's ceiling in year one with the Colts, in your opinion?
Well, it's unknown, to be honest. There's hope that he can get back to what he presented the Philadelphia Eagles back in 17, 18, 19, particularly 2019. But there is so much unknown because he did so much damage last season. Everyone's thought is, oh, now he's back with Frank Wright. Even my thought is he's back with Frank Wright. Now, all of a sudden, mentally, he's going to have a different approach. He's going to be more comfortable. He's going to be more confident because he's going to have someone talking in his ear every day, positive, reinforcing all the good. So I think that's a positive. However, you still got to turn on the tape and see what he did and what didn't work. And last season, he did so many bad things for that Philadelphia Eagles team that it's hard to say that his ceiling is going to be just skyrocketed right out the gate. I think he's going to improve drastically, which is all they really need in Indianapolis because they have a great team around him. He doesn't have to be what he was trying to be with the Eagles. So I think it doesn't really matter how high the ceiling is. It just can't be the lows that we saw last year and the year before.
I don't think we're going to see that, Greg. I really don't. And look, I'm not trying to be an insider, but I know a few people just like you. You know, you play 10, 13 years in the National Football League, you can pick up the phone to call some people. So some people close to the Colts organization, they truly believe that this guy is special. They believe that the team trusts him. They believe that everyone in the whole organization is going to trust him. And that guy is Frank Wright. They truly believe he's special. They think he's a guy that can reach the individual players. And that's why this makes sense for them. You look at how the Philadelphia Eagles are built. They had no depth at the linebacker position. You lose Malcolm Jenkins. Malcolm Jenkins was not only the glue to that defense, but he was the glue to that whole team. And then on the offensive side, depleted on the offensive line. You had no pass catchers. Alshon Jeffrey was banged up half the year, coming off a foot, playing on one leg. And you had an inconsistent play caller. So when you look at this situation, compared to the Colts, who now have a top-tier offensive line, top-tier run game, you have a top-tier defense, and you have Frank Wright, a guy that you had your best year with in 2017. It had nothing to do with play calling. It had everything to do with trust. So this is an organization that truly believe that these two are going to make a tremendous tandem, Nick. So I see that the ceiling for this organization, this team, is Super Bowl. You have to consider that.
So I don't think it's quite the Super Bowl, but I think, listen, last year they won 11 games. They should have won 12 games with slightly above average quarterback play. And so for the team, I think if Wentz can be slightly above average, they should compete with the Titans just like they did last year to win that division. We know the Jags are going to be awful, and the Texans, if they trade Deshaun Watson, are going to be awful. They were awful even though they didn't trade Deshaun Watson this past year. But to me, this is more about how fortunate Carson Wentz has been. Carson Wentz didn't go to the typical team that's drafting number 2 overall, that is just in terrible shape. He went to a team that targeted him, wanted him, traded up in the draft for him. A team that the very next year, in free agency and throughout the season at the trade deadline, added pieces. A team that then was good enough after he got hurt to win the Super Bowl without him. A team that then a year later made him the highest paid or second highest paid player in the league before he had played a single snap in the postseason. And a team that seemingly did one thing wrong by him his entire tenure, which was the audacity to draft a quarterback in the second round, and it rattled him so much he became the worst quarterback in football, or he just became the worst quarterback in football on his own. So, and now, what does he get? He gets to get out of town without folks killing him the way some folks are killing Deshaun Watson, gets to go back to his original offensive coordinator, now as his head coach, with a better offensive line, a better team, and a fresh start. So at this point, he's 28 years old. He has made a ton of money. We've seen none of him in the postseason. What we've seen from him in the regular season throughout his rookie year is one A+ season, one F- season, and then 2018 and 19 when he was good-ish. Okay, so see, you couldn't have gotten more fortunate, Carson. A lot of players have not been given what you've been given. You get now a fresh start. You see if you can take advantage of it. But if he can't, then it's pretty clearly on him at this point.
Well, Nick, look, so it seems like the only issue and the only challenge for Carson Wentz is more his leadership skills, right? Like, we've seen him play at a high level before. We've seen this guy, when given the talent and the guys in the locker room that can help him, he's been able to play at a high level. Now, if you really look at this organization, the Philadelphia Eagles, and look at that roster, they have nothing. And even the years that they were going to the playoffs outside of the Super Bowl year, they were backing their way up into the playoffs. So it seems like his only challenge is, can he be a guy that is a leader in the locker room? And I truly believe, Greg, that Wentz is a guy who's going to look in the mirror and say, you know what? I wasn't great last year, but I'm going to learn from my mistakes and I'm going to get it right. And we're seeing that already. What did he do when he first signed? The first thing he did is start calling the guys in the locker room. That's a good start for him.
I agree with that, but I think what you guys are talking about, specifically you, Nick, is the team. And the team ceiling, yes, is really high. But Carson Wentz as an individual, because he's a part of that team, yes, he's going to climb as the team climbs, but it's all about his play. And what you're talking about right now, Brandon, is really what they need him to be, a great leader. They don't need him to be anything spectacular. They just need him to be, Nick, you said it, above average. Don't turn the ball over. Be consistent with keeping the ball away from the defense and sustaining drives and putting the ball in the end zone. And we have seen him do this over his course of his short career, but we haven't seen it when they need it most, when teams need it most, which is down the stretch in the postseason. Why? Because of injury, which leads to my last point. He has to stay healthy. If this team is going to put all of this in front of him, his health has to be paramount. They're banking on him to take care of his body because, look, like you said, no other player that I've known has been given this type of situation in his lap. Like, here you can have everything you want, Carson Wentz. Just please stay healthy, Nick.
Well, and maybe my commentary sounds a little harsh. It just seems like Carson Wentz has been living off of, a brilliant 3 months more than any player I can remember. This is a guy that if you were just like parachute in and someone would be like, hey, give me the 30-second bio of every player in the league. When you got to Carson Wentz, it would be like, was the second overall pick of the draft. What people said he could have won the MVP his second year in the league. He got hurt. What happened to the team when he got hurt? Well, they went on to win the Super Bowl. The next year he got hurt again. What happened then? Well, they won a playoff game without him. The next year, what happened to him? Well, he was pretty mediocre, but at the end of the year was better. Then he got hurt in the playoffs again. The next year, what happened to him? Was the worst player in the league. Well, okay. And is he good in the locker room? Well, he and his coach didn't talk for 2 months, and his teammates seemed to constantly leak things about him, and he was super unsettled by a second-round dual-threat quarterback they drafted. All right, that's not a guy I'm super excited about, aside from September, October, and November of 2017, which a lot of this, Brandon, is being based off that.
Look, coaching. We talked about in the NBA, leaving the bubble. We talked about the Clippers. Sure. Then you insert Ty Lue, someone that connects better with those guys. And what are we seeing? We're seeing them pretty much dominate the West and can potentially be the team to come out the West. You're looking at Joel Embiid. What happened? He was a little boy last year. Now he's a grown man, and he's probably the MVP this year because of coaching. So Frank Wright is that guy they truly believe. He is the one that can reach him. And Nick, can you give me a little space to do a too-soon prediction? You want to do a too-soon prediction? Is that what we want to do here?
I love it. Let me hear it.
You ready?
Let me hear it.
You ready?
The Colts are going to win the AFC South.
The Colts are going to win the AFC. Yes, too soon prediction right
AFC,
here.
The AFC? Wait, the AFC?
The AFC?
Not the South? The whole
Yes,
thing?
they're going to go to the Super
You're
Bowl.
nuts. No shot.
Look at
Jenna,
Greg's
did they
face.
send
That was
the
Jenna's
Chiefs
face earlier.
to the NFC during vacation?
Every
Are
time
the
I
Chiefs
hear
still
it, it
there?
sounds more ridiculous. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from First Things First, or go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.